Have you ever gazed at the stars and wondered, what's it all about? Is this life all there is? The question of an afterlife has captivated humanity for millennia. Do we need the promise of heaven to make our time on earth matter? Or can we find meaning in a life that inevitably ends? For some, the idea of an afterlife brings comfort and hope. It promises a reunion with loved ones and a just reward for a life well lived. But what if there is no grand finale, no cosmic curtain call? Does that render our existence meaningless, a fleeting flicker in the grand cosmic play? Some find this thought terrifying, leading to despair. Others, however, embrace the preciousness of our finite existence. This perspective, often called existentialism, encourages us to create our own meaning. As the philosopher Jean-Paul Sartre argued, we are condemned to be free, responsible for forging our own paths and values in a world devoid of inherent purpose. Viktor Frankl, a Holocaust survivor and psychiatrist, found meaning even in the depths of Auschwitz. In his book, Man's Search for Meaning, he argues that even in suffering, we can find purpose. He observed that those who clung to hope, be it reuniting with loved ones or finishing a project, were more likely to survive. Similarly, Albert Camus, a prominent existentialist, didn't see the absence of an afterlife as a reason for despair. He believed we should embrace the absurdity of life, the disconnect between our desire for meaning and the universe's indifference, and live life to the fullest. We should imagine Sisyphus, condemned to eternally push a boulder uphill, finding joy in the struggle itself. These examples teach us that meaning is not something bestowed upon us, but something we actively create. Whether it's through love, art, scientific discovery, or simply living authentically, we can forge our own purpose in a universe that may seem inherently indifferent. We don't need to look to philosophical giants to find examples of meaningful lives lived without the promise of an afterlife. Think of the doctor who dedicates her life to curing diseases, knowing her work will outlive her, or the artist who pours his soul into his creations, leaving behind a legacy of beauty and emotion. Consider the teacher who ignites a passion for learning in her students, shaping future generations. These individuals find purpose not in an afterlife, but in the impact they make on the world and the lives they touch. Their legacy lives on in the memories of others and the positive ripples they create in the fabric of society. These stories remind us that meaning can be found in the everyday, in the connections we forge, the contributions we make, and the beauty we create and experience. It's about savoring the present moment, embracing the journey, and leaving the world a slightly better place than we found it. For many, the concept of God intertwines with the question of an afterlife. If God is eternal and unchanging, how can he also be a personal God who answers prayers and intervenes in our lives? This apparent paradox has puzzled theologians and philosophers for centuries. Some argue that God's eternal nature doesn't preclude his involvement in our lives. They believe that God's love transcends time and space, allowing him to be present in every moment, answering prayers and offering guidance. Others suggest that God's interaction with the universe may operate through different mechanisms than we fully comprehend. Ultimately, the nature of God and his role in our lives remains a mystery. Whether we find solace in the idea of an afterlife or embrace the preciousness of our finite existence, the human spirit yearns for meaning and connection. The search for purpose, for something larger than ourselves, is a fundamental aspect of the human experience, regardless of our beliefs about what lies beyond this mortal coil.